There's a profound stirring happening within you right now, a deep recognition that the person you've been showing to the world is only a fragment of who you truly are. Rudolf Steiner discovered that what you're experiencing in this very moment, this deep yearning to understand your authentic essence beyond the surface personality, is actually your higher self calling you home to your divine mission on earth. The restlessness you feel, the sense that there's something greater you're meant to become, the feeling that your current life doesn't fully express your deepest nature. These are not random spiritual longings, but precise cosmic signals that your true self is ready to emerge from the shadows of ordinary consciousness. Steiner revealed that this inner awakening is the most fundamental spiritual task of our time, because humanity has reached a critical evolutionary moment where we must consciously reconnect with our cosmic purpose or remain trapped in the illusion of separation. You are living through what he called the birth of the higher ego within the ordinary ego, a process that feels simultaneously like coming home and venturing into completely unknown territory. This discovery isn't about finding something new, it's about remembering what you've always been, but forgot when you descended into physical incarnation. Your true self exists in that mysterious realm where your individual consciousness meets the universal consciousness, where your personal mission aligns perfectly with the cosmic plan for human evolution. The spiritual synchronicity that brought you to explore this inner awakening reveals that you're no longer content with living from the surface of your being. Steiner understood that this discontent is actually a sacred gift because it means your soul is mature enough to begin the EFA journey of conscious self-transformation. When you feel that gap between who you appear to be in daily life and who you sense you truly are, you're experiencing what mystics have called the call of the higher self. This isn't psychological confusion, it's spiritual precision. Your cosmic purpose is encoded in your very essence, waiting for the moment when you develop enough inner strength and clarity to embrace it fully without losing yourself in the process. Steiner's revolutionary insight into discovering your true self begins with understanding that you are not one unified being, but rather a complex interplay of multiple layers of consciousness, each serving a different aspect of your cosmic purpose. What you call yourself in everyday life is actually what he termed the personality self, a necessary but temporary construction designed to help you navigate physical existence, but never meant to be your final identity. Your true self exists in what Steiner called the realm of the I Am, that eternal core of your being that carries the blueprint of your soul's mission across multiple incarnations. When you feel disconnected from your authentic nature, you're experiencing the natural tension between these different levels of selfhood, and this tension is actually the engine that drives your spiritual evolution toward embracing your cosmic purpose. The path to discovering your true self requires what Steiner called the development of supersensible perception, the ability to perceive beyond the physical senses into the spiritual dimensions where your authentic essence resides. You begin this journey by observing the difference between your reactive personality and your witnessing consciousness, that deeper part of you that can observe your thoughts, emotions, and behaviors without being completely identified with them. Consider how Goethe, one of Steiner's greatest inspirations, spent decades cultivating this inner observer until he could perceive the archetypal forms behind natural phenomena. This same capacity for inner seeing is what allows you to recognize your true self beneath the layers of conditioning and social programming that have accumulated throughout your life. Your cosmic purpose isn't something you need to search for externally, it's already encoded in the very structure of your consciousness, waiting to be discovered through the systematic development of what Steiner called spiritual organs of perception. Just as Beethoven discovered his true self as a channel for cosmic harmonies that transformed human consciousness, and just as Joan of Arc awakened to her authentic mission as a vessel for spiritual forces seeking to reshape history. You, too, carry within your being a unique configuration of spiritual gifts and purposes that can only be fulfilled by you. The key to embracing this cosmic purpose lies in learning to distinguish between the voice of your personality self, which seeks security and recognition, and the voice of your true self, which seeks service and transformation. Subscribe now to deepen your journey of discovering your true self and learn the advanced Steinerian practices for awakening to your cosmic purpose. Tell me in the comments, what signs are you noticing that your true self is calling you to step into your authentic mission? The awakening process that leads to discovering your true self begins with what Steiner called the practice of reverse engineering your soul, systematically working backwards from your deepest inspirations and most authentic moments to uncover the cosmic blueprint that has been guiding your life from behind the scenes. You start by examining those peak experiences when you felt most alive, most connected to something greater than yourself, most certain that you were expressing your authentic nature. These moments are not random. They are glimpses of your true self breaking through the veil of ordinary consciousness, offering you clues about your cosmic purpose. While Steiner discovered that your soul chose specific challenges, relationships, and circumstances in this lifetime precisely to create the conditions necessary for your true self to emerge and fulfill its mission. The practical work of embracing your cosmic purpose requires developing what Steiner called moral imagination, the capacity to envision and create new possibilities that serve both your individual evolution and the collective good of humanity. This isn't about following predetermined rules or copying someone else's spiritual path. It's about learning to think, feel, and act from the creative center of your true self. Consider how Leonardo da Vinci discovered his cosmic purpose by allowing his authentic curiosity and creative genius to flow freely, ultimately contributing innovations that advance human consciousness for centuries. Your true self operates from this same principle of creative service, but it requires you to develop the courage to trust your deepest intuitions even when they lead you away from conventional expectations. The most challenging aspect of discovering your true self is learning to navigate what Steiner called the threshold experience, that moment when you must choose between the familiar comfort of your personality self and the unknown adventure of your authentic cosmic mission. This threshold appears whenever you feel called to express your true nature more fully, whether in your relationships, your work, or your spiritual practice. The resistance you feel isn't weakness, it's the natural response of the personality, self trying to maintain control. Your true self doesn't seek to destroy the personality, but to transform it into a conscious instrument for expressing your cosmic purpose. This transformation requires developing what Steiner called spiritual presence, the ability to remain centered in your authentic essence, even when external circumstances challenge your sense of identity. As you practice this conscious alignment with your true self, you begin to experience what Steiner described as living thinking, a state of consciousness where your thoughts, feelings, and actions flow directly from your cosmic purpose rather than from reactive patterns or social conditioning. This is when discovering your true self becomes embracing your cosmic purpose, because you realize they were never separate. Your authentic essence and your divine mission are one and the same reality, expressing itself through your unique human experience. The culmination of discovering your true self through Steiner's guidance reveals the profound truth that your cosmic purpose was never something you needed to achieve. It's something you needed to remember and embody. When you finally align with your authentic essence, you realize that every experience in your life, including the struggles and confusion about your identity, were precisely orchestrated by your higher self to prepare you for this moment of conscious awakening. Your true self emerges not as a new person you become, but as the eternal being you've always been, now finally free to express its cosmic purpose through your human experience. This is what Steiner meant when he spoke of the birth of the spiritual. Human, you don't transcend your humanity. You fulfill it by becoming a conscious bridge between the earthly and the divine. The practical integration of embracing your cosmic purpose begins with what Steiner called living from the future, making decisions not based on past conditioning or present circumstances, but from the vision of who you're becoming as your true self unfolds. This requires developing complete trust in your inner guidance system, that subtle but unmistakable voice that always knows the next step toward your authentic expression. Consider how Gandhi discovered his true self by consistently choosing actions that aligned with his deepest spiritual convictions, ultimately transforming not only his own consciousness, but the consciousness of entire nations. Your cosmic purpose operates through this same principle of authentic action. When you consistently choose to express your true self, you automatically contribute to the spiritual evolution of humanity. There is something deeply humbling and, at the same time, exalting about this realization that your singular existence, with all its intricacies, flaws, and strengths, carries within it a spark of something eternal, something essential to the unfolding of the whole. The journey to discover who you truly are is not merely a process of self-improvement or personal satisfaction. It is the unfolding of a cosmic intention that predates you and extends beyond you, yet requires you completely. No one else has lived through your exact constellation of experiences. No one else hears the world through the inner tones that echo in your consciousness, and no one else can bring to life the very specific vibration that only you can translate into action, into presence, into being. And this uniqueness is not an accident, it is a sacred design. As you begin to trust in that design, to listen to the subtle pull toward what feels alive, true, and meaningful, you begin to move in rhythm with something far greater than yourself. What once felt like isolation in your uniqueness is gradually revealed as participation in an intricate, divine choreography where every step you take in integrity activates movement in the collective dance of humanity. This is why your personal awakening is never just personal. The moment you choose to live from the truth within, you become a point of resonance for others, still searching for their own. Your courage speaks louder than words. Your alignment becomes a tuning fork, vibrating across unseen dimensions, awakening in others the memory of what they are here to be. In Steiner's vision, each individual is not a passive observer of spiritual realities, but a bearer of spiritual responsibility. The world changes not through coercion or mass persuasion, but through the quiet, steady embodiment of higher truths in daily life. Each human being who embraces their cosmic purpose acts as a bridge between the divine and the earthly, allowing the abstract, infinite intelligence of spirit to express itself through human limitation, making it visible, tangible, and transformative. This incarnation of divine consciousness is not a dramatic event, but a continuous unfolding, a slow descent of light into matter made possible by the daily choices of those willing to live in harmony with the truth of their being. And so, the work of discovering your true self is not a solitary or self-indulgent path. It is a sacred offering to the whole. Every act of integrity becomes a seed planted in the collective field of consciousness. Every moment of presence, of self-trust, of listening to the still voice within, becomes part of the evolutionary current, lifting all of humanity. You are not just discovering who you are contributing to the birth of a new world, not through grand gestures, but through the simple, profound miracle of being wholly, unapologetically, and courageously yourself. As you continue this sacred work of discovering your true self and embracing your cosmic purpose, remember that this isn't a destination you reach, but a way of being you cultivate moment by moment. Your true self is always available, always calling you deeper into authentic expression, always ready to guide you toward your next level of cosmic service. The spiritual awakening you're experiencing through this understanding is exactly what our world needs. Conscious individuals who know who they are and why they're here, living from their deepest truth and highest purpose. This channel is dedicated to supporting your journey of spiritual awakening and helping you discover the cosmic purpose that's uniquely yours. Share in the comments how you plan to integrate this understanding of your true self into your daily life and spiritual practice.